What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Event Masters. This is episode 13, 14, 15 is the number that comes after 14. I am your host, Dylan Schinholzer. Alongside of me, you'll see in a second, is Patrick Van Dusen. We have another special guest, which is not the special guest we had planned. But either way, let's get into it.
Welcome to the show, EventMASTERs. You need to listen to this if you want to throw bigger and better events. Learn how to monetize and land bigger racks. Yeah, this is where you can learn how to do that. EventMASTERs.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Event Masters. As I said, my name's Dylan Schinholzer. If you don't know me by now, good Lord, what are you doing? And alongside of me, as always, Patrick Van Dusen. What's up, man?
Hey, another Friday, episode number 15. Excited.
Yeah, man. Getting there.
Also, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, go back there because I'm still pumped on that one. So,
dude, I've gotten so much feedback
one of the
from
greatest
it.
shows still.
Yeah. Our content guy was looking at it. He was like, dude, you kind of went off. I was like, man, I had to get it off my chest. He was like, I don't know what to clip out. I was like, just clip out the whole thing. Just let's go with it. So yeah, guys, I'm excited. Episode 15. This one, like I said right before, we had a special guest. You know how live shows go. Cancellations, some reworking. So we were like, you know what? We're event people, so we're going to adapt. We're going to keep it moving. We ain't got time for this, okay? We don't think problems. We think solutions. So today's episode is going to be probably one of the most random ones in the history of Event Masters, okay? So a couple minutes ago before the show went live, I posted a comment thread that says, ask me whatever, okay? And in this episode, in the chat as well, ask us whatever. We're going to jam on a bunch of random things today, and we want to solve you guys' problem. But before we do that, got to do that, usual housekeeping, right? Because if I don't ask, you don't do it, okay? You know who you are. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow us on social medias at Event Masters Show. Can't be any easier than that on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. And then over there on those podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple, Event Master Show, download it, like us, review it, subscribe it, whatever you do with on those platforms. I really don't know. So anyways, Patrick, and I hinted at this, but we got a special guest in the building today.
Special guest, and this is gonna be exciting just because a lot of you already know ViewStub, but a lot of you don't know ViewStub. We have a lot of listeners that aren't familiar with ViewStub. But I think, since this is going to be like an open forum, open Q&A, I was actually just looking at it. There's a bunch of questions already on some of your posts. So I think it would be great. This person is on the front lines working with event organizers, providing them with a great solution, helping them throw successful events. So it'd be great to have him on this episode.
All right. Well, without further ado, then let's go ahead and bring up the one, the only, well, there might be 12. I don't know. There's 6. I don't know how common this name is. Anyways, before I stop butchering this intro, let's go ahead and bring up my man, Josh. What's up, sir?
What's up, guys? And one and only. It is. I checked. I had to make sure.
Did you go to the event where they fought with the noodles and all the Joshua fought with the noodles?
No. Because what I did is I was like, you know what? I'll just go by Joshua and then just trump them all. So.
I love it. So anyone who doesn't know, Josh is one of the business development reps, senior business development reps here at ViewStub. Has been with us over a year now and has done an amazing job. We were like, we're going to bring Josh on the show today.
Yeah, happy to be here. Best episode yet.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Is that so? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, look, so because you are new, our audience does not know who you are, and you obviously play a big role here at ViewStub. While we pull up some of these questions that people have been asking, and guys, if you're tuning in right now, this is your time to ask your most random question. Okay, please keep it event related. This is not your time to throw in your favorite ViewStub feature you've been requesting. Okay, please keep the chat comments clean here. Anyways, but while we load up some questions here for everybody that we're going to jam on today, Josh, what's your little backstory? Where did you come from? How did you become the one and only Josh Vanego?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I've been doing sales for about 12 years. I actually started as a firefighter. It wasn't for me, too much sitting around. And then I got into medical sales. I did that for about 5 years, then got into sponsorship and event sales for a company called Crepes a Latte, where I'd go on the event show floor and basically just, provide cappuccinos and all kinds of luxury items in their booth to drive in traffic and revenue for them. And then, you know, I actually pitched selling Spencer something on Facebook, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm trying to sell you this, man. Do you want it or not?" And he's like, "Actually, I got a better opportunity for you." And I checked it out, and we worked out, you know, some deals, and man, it's been crazy ever since. It's not the perfect time to join ViewSub, and I've never been more passionate about any position, for sure.
I dig it. I like it. So you come from a background of sales and all around events. So you've got a leg up on a lot of these folks. So I dig it. So we're gonna get into this random show today. And so what we're going to do is, obviously, folks, once again, if you're tuning in, I see a handful of you. I'm looking. Well, I'm not looking at you. That'd be real freaky, huh? I'm looking at you guys. Go ahead and in the comments, wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Facebook, drop your questions. Random, whatever it is, sponsorships, how to manage events, systems, technology, how to create engaging virtual events. Do you want me to go on my last week's ramble? I will, because it's good Lord, I'll do it. I'm not scared. So whatever you guys need, this group of collective humans right here, this guy, that guy, and that guy. I don't even think that's right. Anyways, we have years of experience. We can help. We can add value. So I'm going to get started with some of these questions that we were asked previous. And let's go. So those of you tuning in, get the questions in. So curiosity, gentlemen. Curiosity on this one. This one's interesting. We kind of chatted on it quickly with Will on another episode. But what do you guys think? Let's hear you guys' take. What will events look like in 5, 10, 20 years? Let's start with 5 before we get to
Let's start with 5. All right. Go ahead. Patrick, you want to start this one?
I'm going to keep it pretty general, and I'm going to keep it pretty plain. I mean, a lot of you guys could already probably guess my answer. And I'm actually going to throw it back because it's funny. We were doing hybrid events before hybrid events were streamlined. And we work with organizers that are like, oh, streaming events is so new. Hybrid events is so new. And I'm like, no, like the Super Bowl has been around for how long? It's been hybrid. Pay-per-view boxing has been around for how long? Hybrid, right? But so it's just been so big, and the technology and the ease of the technology and the streamline of the education on how to stream your in-person event or virtual event on a lower level without like a huge stadium or like $100,000, satellite truck. Well, those things cost way more. But what I'm getting at is in the next 5 years, hybrid is here to stay. Events are always going to have a virtual component, especially, of course, in the next 2 years. But even beyond that, because I think with the hybrid component, like adding a virtual component to live events, I think it's going to do a little twist. It's not going to be, I think, what people think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more of trying to combine the in-person and the virtual audience together. And I don't think it's going to be as intuitive. A lot of people that come to us are like, oh, I need a virtual lobby and an avatar and things like that. I think it's going to get more simpler than you guys think it is, and it's going to be more video-based.
Yeah,
that's my 5-year answer.
I agree. And I would say, just to go right off of that, I think it's going to be more commercialized, right? It's going to be more of a standard for events, because a lot of people think, well, the reason everything went virtual or hybrid is because of COVID, but that's not always the case. Here, I think it was at the Vanguard in Orlando, it got canceled because of rain. You know what I mean? So there can be other factors that play into that, not just, a pandemic. So moving forward, it'll definitely be hybrid. And I completely agree. It's not going to be avatar driven. It's too much, right? People are going to get tired of that. It's going to pull back to like more of a pay-per-view style. And now that it's more commercialized, it'll be easier for just normal everyday events and event planners and producers to have that as a solution.
I like it. So the trend of both, what I take from both of you guys, is really just the combining of this in-person and virtual world, and like the future kind of is hybrid, even though we all know that it's not new. So I have a slightly different take because one, I don't think every single event on this planet should be hybrid. Most of you guys can't even figure out in person yet. But what I think in the next couple years, like obviously for the foreseeable future, because we're going to probably have to have that combination of in-person and virtual and things like this. But I want to be on the record. I want to be the guy that kind of goes against everybody and just says the future of events is events, whether it's hybrid, whether it's virtual, whether it's in-person, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The technology is not going to disrupt this industry. It could be hybrid. It could not be hybrid. It might be hybrid. It might not. It should be. It shouldn't. honestly, no, I don't want all you guys doing hybrid events because you're going to screw up the ones that are doing the good ones who are doing it right. So I actually don't want to preach hybrid because you guys are going to muddy the waters. It's like NFTs. Josh has said this on the last show.
Yeah.
There's so many, 98% of NFTs right now are bull crap. 99.9% of virtual events right now are crap. So I think in 5 years, what you're going to see is, hopefully for me, at least from my end, is yes, the hybrid component, but the creativity with the tech at the in-person events and the virtual. It's the technology plays that I see that are interesting, right? The 5 to 10 to 15, 20-year window. I don't think you can get the hybrid event that everybody's climbing for the next 5 years. You're not going to get it. You're going to get a live stream with some interactive features. Okay. Yeah. Where I think everybody wants us to go is VR and AR. How can or holograms, right? Yeah. The Tupac at Coachella, like that was game changer, right? For the whole entire industry. That was one of those moments when you're like, man, I want to have that moment as an event guy. I want everybody to be talking about that one singular moment. But like, that's where I start to, when technology can catch up. So that's why I'm saying is I have a little bit different point of view because I don't think it is in the next 5-6 year window unless VR pulls, figures out how to be cheaper because good God, it's expensive. But like that VR, that actual blending, otherwise you are just getting a video experience, no matter how we shape it. Every single one of our platforms are just video experiences with our own twist.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So my opinion is, you're going to get a hybrid event where it's a broadcast style live stream. That's what you guys need to be doing for the next 5 years. And then incorporating in the tech and the AR and the VR and the XR, like all these Rs. Guys, the R's are getting it.
A lot of pirates out here.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, that's where hybrid is. So Carlos goes, hybrid isn't going anywhere. Challenging part is finding ways to keep audience engaged independently and together.
Yeah.
So
I actually have
touch on that. Go for it.
I got another point. I think what's going to be the best solution to all of this is to train the event organizers and exponential hospitality managers and everybody like that so that they can orchestrate an event, whether it should be, like you're saying, have a hybrid component or have a virtual component, or it shouldn't, right? And I think educating that industry is going to be really what changes. Just like you're saying, there's some events that should not be virtual. Well, you need to have an event organizer or production team that says, hey, no, like this is a food truck thing. You don't know, no virtual. Like
there's some events that should not be in person too.
Right. But you need somebody to orchestrate that, right? Like you need somebody with the knowledge and background to say, hey, we're going to do it this way and this is why. But yeah, so to touch on Carlos, I just think it's educating the industry on where to have those minute details and to lead it in the right direction as an expert in the field ourselves.
My take on this would be curiosity is why do they need to be engaged together? Ask yourself that. Yeah. Like I said this on the last show, like when I watch The Voice, I'm not trying to interact with the audience. I'm trying to watch the event and it's engaging. Why is that different than your virtual event? Curiosity.
Yeah. Well, it kind of comes down to, Dylan, if you had the option to engage with other fans, would you though? You never had.
Absolutely not. I'm sitting at home at 8 o'clock at night.
I don't want to. Yeah, I think it really comes down, because I agree with Carlos. Hybrid isn't going away, but on the engaging part, I think it also comes down to the feedback. And then also the content, right? Keeping them engaged. That goes back to our last episode. So
I think it's the type of content, right? When in the world of hybrid, and you're trying to figure out how to create virtual, it's understanding. I was going down this rabbit hole with somebody on LinkedIn the other day, and it's not about most of your events are boring, so. Sorry that they're not engaging.
You should not be worried about who's engaged on what different platform. You should just make sure one of them is engaged.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's where I would start. Like,
can you imagine being at a concert, right? A live concert, which we all super enjoy, and there's a screen with everybody's face on it. You're not going to care who's watching it. You're going to be paying attention to the stage. So but it depends on the event, right? And just like everything down to the ticket, to the way it's going to be produced is all about the actual content of the event. Because, if it's like a magician, there has to be interactions on both the virtual and the in-person side. And
I watch magic shows on TV all the time, though. Don't got to talk to the audience.
True.
It's just about he's being good. He's entertaining. He's engaging. He's like it's simple things. People think this is overcomplicated. I'm not a rocket science. You know how easy it is if you want to create engagement between an in-person speaker and a virtual audience. Why don't you look at the camera?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's not it really, Carlos, I'm not calling you out by any means. I'm just saying in general, like it's little things that you don't need to think about, like polling and Q&A. It's literally just like, hey, live stream viewers, what's up? Like what's going on, guys? Like, hey, live stream viewers.
Thank you for tuning in. Maybe give them
thanks for like when Carson Daly's on The Voice, he's hosting. He's like, hey, everybody at home, have this. Hey, do this at home, and they have some like app that you can sign up and play along with or something. But what I'm saying there is, it's not always the tools and features. It's just the creativity when it comes down to the type of content. Maybe what happens in the virtual world with the massive format shift. You need to stop thinking like event producers and think more like a storyteller and a TV producer. What if our entire virtual event actually became a movie? Yeah. What if you instead of thinking like an event guy, okay, stop thinking like a virtual event, and I'm going to do virtual. What if you took a business conference and instead of doing speaker, hey, speaker A, come on up. Hey, speaker B, come do your PowerPoint presentation. What if you flip the whole thing into a movie? Yeah.
Make it tell a story.
I would watch it.
You got to try to make it immersive, right? And as intimate as possible. And I keep using that word on calls when I'm talking to producers, because it has to be intimate. The more intimate you make it, the more engaging it's going to be. And people aren't going to want to step away, just like people don't want to go to the bathroom during a movie.
Yeah. So I'm just going to bring this up because I want to answer him. Was Tupac a game changer or just a novel parlor tick? Ethan, I will come to wherever you live and fight you on this one. It was one of the most monumental moments in event history. And the reason is because, and here's why I think it is. Imagine when, actually, I'm going to steal this from my new buddy, Will Curran. He said it I was in a meeting with me the other day. He was like, dude, imagine instead of getting Steve Wozniak to come speak at your event, you can get Steve Jobs.
Yo,
I'd be like, that'd be dope. Like, you know how cool that would be. So yeah, I mean, and it goes into, so yeah, it was a parlor trick, but guess what? That parlor trick is now being still talked about 10 years later.
It's a game-changing parlor trick.
So imagine when there's like, we're talking 50 years in events. Imagine when you can have a hologram, when you drop the hologram speaker, or even AR. This is where I'm really interested to see this goes. When I can take my phone and use AR to put the speaker in front of me in my building, like right over there, like they do with the couch technology on Amazon. I don't know any other way to do it. But what if I could have my speaker in my house?
Yeah,
that
like
would
the
be
dinosaurs.
That wouldn't be a parlor trick. That's really blending things.
Yeah. I mean, I do know back in 2019, we had a friend that she was speaking at an event in Tokyo, but didn't actually fly to Tokyo. She just went to the studio, right? And then I think they hologrammed her in. Yeah. Like not like a real hologram, but like more of a projection on a screen. But it was more like 3D or whatever. And I think that may come about where there's going to be, someone's going to create a company where there's going to be sites around like the United States to where like you could bring in your speaker and hologram them into your live event if they didn't want to travel from like Florida to California or something. I could see that coming.
Yeah, and then they have the technology in the studio that's so powerful that it's going to be crisp and clean. You don't have to worry about a background falling out or something.
Exactly. He says monumental parlor trick. Yeah. Look, hey, all I need I don't care if you think it's great technology, we're talking about it. And if I can get you to talk about it, then you're talking about my event. And if you're talking about my event, I'm getting exposure. And if I'm getting exposure, I'm selling more tickets. And if I'm selling more tickets, I'm making more money. I can keep going, son.
Yep.
Anyways,
this is free marketing for them right now.
Yeah, I can talk like that to Ethan. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, Oscar's attempt at recently by let me pull this up. Movie-like experience, but it was more of the same disconnected approach to hybrid. Well, maybe
it's hard to pull off. A lot of people don't realize it is harder.
Yeah.
It definitely is. I'm just saying push the envelopes on the form of creativity. So let's go into some of these other questions. That's what the future of events, I guess, would look like. It is obviously, can we blend the two? That's where technology is coming to, we're trying to do that in all facets, not just events. So I think, technology is going to play a part in the industry. At the end of the day, in 15 years, we'll still be going to music festivals, in my opinion, though. Yeah, they're not going to be hybrid. Or they're not going to be they're just going to become events. I can't wait. I don't know about you two. I can't wait till hybrid events are just events. Like, I'm so tired of this word hybrid. Like, can we just call it an event?
That's what it should be. Literally.
So let's move on to a completely another random topic.
All right.
How to build your event team, committee, skill sets, volunteers versus professionals.
Ooh.
This one's
Oh,
a super
man.
interesting conversation for me just because I'm in this world.
I was about to say
So
that.
I'll let you guys, I'll
I
let you
kind of
guys
want to
chat
go
on it
into
first.
it because
Yeah, go for it.
I do know we kind of worked at an event in the past 12 months, and I think they had volunteers, right? I've seen it time and time again, and I think a lot of people disconnect with the volunteers as well as their commitment. So I guess like if you do have volunteers for your event, you're not paying them, but you still need to set expectations. I see a lot of event organizers are like, oh, well, they're helping. They just need to stand by the back door and make sure that no one gets in without a pass, right? No, you still need to treat them like they're actually working. Just because they're not getting paid doesn't mean that they get some special little, oh, you let it slide. Because I see
Yeah.
too many people getting volunteers and then things going wrong with the event and it's the volunteer's fault. And then I look back and I'm like, well, you probably didn't really lay it down for your volunteers. So I just want to throw that out there right now. Is
Yeah.
set those expectations. It doesn't matter if they're paid or not paid. If they agree to work at your event, you got to treat them the same. Just make sure something's in it for them. A lot of volunteers,
Yeah.
they do it for like the experience because they want to watch the show but still work at the same time, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say definitely the experience, right? That's what I was going to say is even if you're not paying them or giving them a t-shirt or whatever they used to do, you just say, hey, you worked this event. You can put this on your resume. You can say that you did this event and I'll teach you. And, we should first, work to learn instead of work for money, right? Because that'll just build our skill set and we'll be able to charge more later on because we'll have all this experience. And yeah, setting expectations is huge, whether it's virtual, in person, or anything. I've worked with teams where the person doing the production was just, volunteering his time and he wasn't taking it very serious. I'm like, man, come on, we need to be in this. I'm in this with you. I'm doing this on my after hours. I just want this event to be successful. And then, once they see commitment, they start to get committed. So, you set that standard and, productivity builds productivity. So,
Yeah, no, 100%. And so I have both employed and volunteers. I've employed actual team members. And so the main difference comes down for me is you need to get volunteers for the grunt, leg work, monkey work, as I call it. I don't know if that's the right term, but it is the term I use. And so it's the boots on the ground mentality. It's the little jobs that you need, but you need to have experience in managerial and event knowledge and areas of leadership. Meaning, if you don't have a top-down project manager, event coordinator from the top, like the pinnacle of the event, and they are managing every avenue, then you're going to lose. So I always start with who's the event manager, like who is that guy or girl? Who's it going to be, right? And are they able to do that job, right? They become basically a project manager. So if you have that, a lot of companies do have that, and then they outsource. That's what I do as a business outside of this, as you both guys know. I come in as a general contractor. I put all these pieces together, which is why I'm very familiar with building teams, because I'm a 2-3 person team and I go and build everything out. So you need it in the leadership roles, like team management. So your events are divided into a lot of sections, right? Production, stage, attendee experience, catering, food and drink. You need to have someone paid and who's taking it very serious on all of those avenues. And then outside of that, your bartender could be volunteering.
Right.
Okay. So just understand that it's top down. And for those of you who have small teams, definitely hire experience, not my company experience, but hire someone with experience, because it's going to save you so much money. I say this all the time. I save you more money than I cost you. I'm going to make you more money than I cost you, just based on I have years in this game. And if you don't, then I can make decisions, or I know to make decisions, and not just me, but other event humans, they know to make decisions that you don't even know to think of that can save you or cost you 10 to 20,000, right?
Yep.
So it's understanding when you go in to build your team, you got to understand you have to have your core group, okay? And everyone has to have a role, okay? Yep. And they're in that leadership position, and then volunteer it out. And then these two gentlemen are 100% right. Those volunteers you need to have set expectations. Mm-hmm. They need to be buying into your event culture, right? If you're having a very fun, energetic event and it's super hype and everyone's supposed to be loud, you need to make sure your volunteers know that. Vice versa, if it's not that, if it's like an 80-year-old birthday party, you don't want that. So they need to do that, right? So just understand that they need to be able to match levels of your event. And there's so many ways to get volunteers. You can give them things, you can give them like experience, like they said. I think every event needs to have a good combination of both.
Yeah, because it also gives people in the industry to get experience, right? So you're giving them that, and then also it gives the experts that ability to come in and say, "Hey, I'm leading this team," so then they also get experience leading that team. Then they make a little bit of coin in the process. But if you're not an expert or you don't know anything about something, hire an expert. I am a huge advocate of that. I know a good amount about a lot of things, but there's some things that I just don't know, right? Like my HVAC system, I can do a little bit about it, but I'm going to hire somebody to come in and, put antifreeze in or electricity. I can wire a 240, but I'm not going to be messing with it and doing it because I don't want to die, right? There's levels and right. So everything falls into the same event experience, for production teams and, everything that goes into that, hire an expert. It'll save you, just like Dylan said. It will save you in the long run because they're going to know the industry and they're going to know what to avoid. Biggest thing, what to avoid, and also how to cut corners and save money, because once they're on your team and you're actually paying them, they're going to make the best time out of their time, basically.
And I will say this, if you're paying people, you get what you pay for. I'm just going to leave it there.
So
let's move on. The next one here, it actually fits right into this, and this is a pretty one-worded answer, I think. How to create a collaboration hub for your team running an event for quick status up to date. What do you choose? Thoughts on this? I have one word that answers it all.
I'll let you start it then.
I think this was Ethan. So Ethan, one software called Slack saves your life. I promise you. Okay. It's super simple. Like I'm not kidding, dude. To be honest, like genuinely, I'm not kidding about this. I use 3 softwares to run my events. Okay. Obviously ViewStub. Okay. Slack. And I use Trello. Okay. ViewStub does my event stuff. Slack allows my communication with my team, my sponsors, my speakers, my artists, my entertainers, my managers, everybody, my volunteers, and then Trello for project management. If there was a better combination of those two, I would only come down to one software. But those are the 3 ones I use for my entire event. I run everything from those 3 softwares right there. So
even we use Slack for EventNext. By the way, EventNext, June 4th, eventnext.live if you want to check it out. We use Slack for EventNext. So we have the whole team on a different Slack channel. It's been wonderful. So great. And then you just build out your channels with all the topics. And another thing is a little drop on that is the production studio does have a little kind of Slack, a little feature like in that. I think we're working on it a little bit more. It's getting a little bit more built out and optimized. But it looks like you can do a couple of channels inside of your private chat with your production team too.
Yeah, for day
that's
of.
like more day of. So
for day of.
So he said, Ethan, to answer your question, Discord is another one. I've seen people use Telegram. I've seen people use Discord. I've seen people use Slack. It's just having that one central hub and running everything you do from it. I would sincerely implore you, just knowing you to get one of those and just to use it. And when people give you backlash, it's like, no, you want to be a part of my event. This is how we roll. Like,
and once people get on it, they love it.
So it helps them
too.
So just have that one central hub. I know there was a couple other questions. So as you guys are tuning in, I know some of you are still tuning in, popping in.
We got about 10 people watching now. 9, 10 people.
They're late as AF. Anyways,
we start at 3, sometimes 3:01.
Oh well, if Patrick's coming, it's usually 3:03. But anyways, let me pull up. Oh yeah, we were waiting on Josh this time. I blame you, dude.
Oh no.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry. I got to do it.
All right, fine. I'll take this one because I'm the guest. Fine.
Let's get one more question in there for everyone watching. Drop the questions. I'm watching the comments.
These are great. I like these questions because they expand over more than just.
Ethan said he got his tickets for EventNext.
Love it.
Amanda said some of us have work. If you guys don't already know, Amanda is one of our newest success directors. She just commented, amazing. Some of you guys will be working with her on your next event. She has ran some really great events too.
Yeah.
Try not to bug her too much on soaking up that knowledge from her.
Yeah, so. I do. She's a whiz at streaming.
This one's interesting. I knew we had another comment. So, because this is a completely random show, times like this, PJ said, times like these are good for personal shows. How did you both get in the, well, this was before we brought Josh on. How did you both get in the event space? How has it changed since then? It's an interesting conversation. Patrick, how'd you get in the event space?
Yeah.
Man, I just love entrepreneur events. It all started with entrepreneur events. It all started with like I just always been an entrepreneur, and you know, I always started out with the self-development online with like the Facebook groups and the Slack channels of like your little masterminds that they used to call them, you know, and different little entrepreneur niches. And then I started going to in-person conferences and networking events. And you know, I would always pay like X amount, $50, $150, or whatever amount to go to workshops. And I always thought like, why can't you just like pay to go? And I always wanted to be in live media, and I just loved events, so I just combined the two because I want to get into like video media. And I was like, and then started going to the events, and the event organizer was like, yeah, I want to stream my event because I have someone in California that's not going to fly out because they're not going to pay, you know, $2,000 to come to my $100 event, but I don't want to stream on Facebook or YouTube, and I can't build out an entire website. So that's when Spencer and I were like, oh, we'll just build a turnkey solution. You just pop a video in there, put up your tickets, and go with it. And it started out super simple. And then as you guys can see, it's like one of the best solutions out there. So it all started like that.
Yeah,
I dig it. And we kind of heard your backstory, Josh. But so let me ask you a different question around this.
Sure.
What is your favorite part of events? Like when you think about events, like why did you gravitate towards them and things like that?
So I'll say why I gravitated towards ViewStub events, right? And it was strictly because I not only wanted to help people put on their event rather than just working in the event in some aspects. So I was working with brand awareness or traffic driven event styles, right? And then this was more working with the event directly. And that's what always interested me. And then being able to control the ticketing on the back end is really cool because now I can help, you know, capitalize on sponsorships that they might have not thought, right? And that kind of falls into being an expert in helping people collaborate and expand their mind on different ways to have and host their event, and also creating a solution. And sometimes, especially in the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm sure Dylan, Patrick, you guys felt like this too, we would get on calls with people and feel like superheroes because we had a solution that they had no idea what to do. And we would spend even more time with those kind of people to make sure that they had a successful event. And that was a really great experience that I mean, I've never had in my life directly. And I don't, you know, I just want to keep having those experiences. So that's kind of where that falls into.
Yeah, no, I super like that. I get on every call and feel like I'm a superhero.
Yeah.
And I'm a lot of the same. It was funny. Years ago, I had started, I came from this whole world of network marketing. And I don't know if anybody has ever been to a network marketing event of their conference. I guarantee you're going to leave with more motivation, hype, and rah-rah inside of you than ever. But I noticed a lot of things when I went to those. Yeah, it's like, but I left them as the first time like into that world. I'm like, holy crap, I do feel real energized. Like, I don't know what it is. This stuff's corny AF, but like, holy cow, I can't help it. And that kind of prompted events. And I went to several of those, and I started going to other events that weren't at that level because those are $3 to $5 million events. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to these kind of like Patrick, entrepreneur-driven events. And then what I noticed was I started using events to meet people. I'm a connector, I'm a networker, and I was like, well, how do I meet more people? Events. Okay, great, but I don't like to talk to people. Okay, I don't really want to talk to people. That it's awkward. I don't like it. So what I did was like, hey, can I come bartend your event? And I started volunteering events. I was at the check-in, or I was always at check-in, or I was always at the bar because I realized I could talk to everyone at a singular event. And I started doing that for a couple years, just trying to connect and meet people. And I realized one thing: most of these events were boring as hell. And so over that time, I was building a marketing company, and one thing led to another. I started to hate clients. And two, I was like, there's got to be a better way. These events are getting more and more boring. I go to 10 of them a year, and they're all the same. I was like, I want to do something really different. And so like from there, I started the event company, and I've gotten to work with a lot of cool people just based on I wanted to do different things. I wanted to do cool things. I liked events. I liked who you got to meet. I liked the energy it provides and the moments. Like when you really think about it, when someone looks back on their life at the moments that make up their life, I guarantee you a big percentage of them happened at some sort of event, right? Because events are things that happen. That could be like family dinners, birthday parties, all the way up to music festivals, right? So when you look back on someone's life, events and experiences are things that actually make it up and things they remember forever. I was like, man, how do I get to I want to be that. I said, but I don't want them to know who I am. So this is genuinely where it is. I was like, I want to be the biggest thing never heard of. And I realized that I could do that in events because I could be in backstage, but I could build the world's biggest event. And you have no idea who I am. That's my goal. That's why I like events, because I want to be the biggest thing never heard of. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to do it. So that's my story. That's what I'm sticking to. So let's wrap this up with some more random stuff. What can we jam on? We got anything coming up? ViewStub related, event related.
Event next, June 4th.
Event next. Event next, people.
Event next. Live.
EventNext.live. That's gonna be super fun. I've been chatting with a lot of our speakers and going over their slide decks and presentations, what they'll be doing, what they'll be chatting about, and like it is next level. I've been to some of these virtual events around virtual events, and the content's weak. No offense, but it's the same stuff that everyone's saying. So I think we did a really good job, just to be honest, and then just to. So everybody on the back here. Yeah, that was Josh. Yeah, you did good.
Thanks. So when a lot of these people that's going to separate it, and this will kind of be a teaser, and then also just I'm curious. So is it the context that they're talking about that is going to be more entertaining than a lot of other live events with these speakers? I know the speakers are awesome, right? Like they're rock stars in their industries, but are you working with them and honing like the topics and what they talk about? So that's not.
I mean, I think what we did was really do a really well-rounded what you need to know for events coming up and in the future, right? So we have folks like Jen, who was supposed to be our guest today on how to use PR, which could have been talked about 10 years ago. That really hasn't changed. But then we have folks like Thomas Whalen who come in and go, how do I feed 30,000 people in a COVID pandemic-y world? Well, I want to know that, right? That's super hard. That's not normal stuff that people think about when they're event planning. They're just like hybrid, real high level hybrid. Yeah. You know, you got to feed these people, right? Yeah. Like you got to feed them. How you feed them when they're scared to be 6 feet apart? Yeah. Like, how do you feed that many people? So we have Thomas, and then we have, can't think of any. My brain hurts. It's Friday. Yeah. You guys ever have Friday brain?
Oh yeah. EventNext.live. Check out the speakers.
Show's over.
Check out some of these shows. We've already had a good amount of speakers leading up until the event. We're gonna have all these speakers on this show too.
And I have a funny feeling Patrick's green screen's about to drop.
No.
It keeps coming in. Anyways, guys, look, we're going to wrap this up here because this has been one of the most random shows on the planet, but sometimes you got to do it. But I think a lot of good stuff came out of this, though. Because, you know, we talked high level on what events look like and kind of what the future holds, and then how to build your event team. I want to do a show on that because that is super important. And you guys, and for those of you watching, let's get serious for a second. Build your team, hire experts, and make sure you have and understand how to run a team. So that goes into leadership. I think event managers need to be leaders more than they need to be event people. That's why event managers don't necessarily always need to know about events. They just need to know how to run teams. And then the collaboration hub, Slack, Discord, all of that good stuff. You heard all of our stories. So with that being said, people, this was episode 15 of Event Masters. I liked it. I dug it.
Best episode yet.
So just because Josh was here, it was the best episode. As facts. Drop the mic.
Yep.
Even him and his background there that keeps fluttering. All right, everybody. Well, look, my name's Dylan Shinholzer. Alongside of me is Patrick Van Dusen. This is Event Masters. Go ahead and like, subscribe, follow us on all social medias, download the podcast. All you got to do is type it in. It ain't that hard. Event Masters show on everything. You find us. Website's coming soon.
I'm coming to, yeah,
I was about to say, website's coming soon. Don't forget to check out EventNext.live. And don't forget that this whole show is brought to you by us good folks here at ViewStub. We're doing a lot of cool things over there. Most of you watching this know what's going on, but if you don't, or if you're not in the know, get with one of us on this call and we will make sure you get that going. So any last words, gentlemen, and we're going to wrap this up.
No, stay safe.
No? All righty.
Some events together.
Have events. Stay safe and have events. Do not wait.
All right, awesome, everybody.
Guys.
We'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Later.